Hi witches, welcome to the Witching Week. Today is episode 124. We're going to be looking at some of the weird energy that's been around recently. We're going to be talking about Samhain and the veil and all things end of October, and we're going to be looking at some perfect Halloween TV. So grab a cup of tea, put some incense on, get comfy, and we'll explore the Witching Week. Hi everyone, hi witches. Thank you for being here, thank you for watching. If it's your first episode of the Witching Week, then welcome. My name's Ren, I'm the Cemetery Witch, and every Friday we get together for a cup of tea and a talk about what's been going on and the change of seasons and the turn of the wheel. Thank you so much. I was not here last week. Thank you so much for bearing with me this week and over the summer holidays, and just generally this year. It's not been my best year. I'm in a much better position than I was last year with my health, but it's taken a little while to catch up and to get back on track. So thank you so much. I'm going to tell you what I am drinking. I am drinking cranberry and raspberry from Twinings, and I'm burning, except I'm not burning because I haven't lit it yet. I am burning some Ayurvedic oud. I'm going to show you this brand. I picked it up last week. I like their meditation version, but I've got 3 different ones here. Hang on a sec, let's get that lit. Oh, it needs a bit more. It needs a bit more. Don't you find that? Sometimes it's just not long enough. You think it's well lit, and it's not. There we go. There we go, we're cooking on gas. Right, so let me show you. I really like this brand. So I've got the meditation one, which I quite often burn in my events room. This is the oud one, the black one. Ayurvedic oud masala incense. So they're all masala incense. We've got opium and we've got agar wood, and the meditation one is in a pale, slightly more yellow box, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I am expecting really good things from these ones, but you never know, do you? You have to try to find out. So we're in October proper, woo! I've decided I'm not that keen on September. Well, I mean, it's okay as months go, but I do absolutely love October, and I was quite glad actually when we went from September to October. Everything slows down a bit. We've got Samhain and Halloween at the end of the month to look forwards to. Today's my wedding anniversary, so a big thank you and round of applause to the man who supports my business. And yeah, I just want to say thank you to you guys for being here, for supporting me, and to the people that signed up to Patreon in the last couple of weeks. We have had an influx of lovely people, so thank you so much. You guys really help keep this channel going, genuinely. I am not able, with my vast array of health problems, I'm not able to work for someone else. It would be extremely difficult, both in terms of physically managing it and the amount of time that I take off for hospital appointments, operations, recovery. It just would not work. So you keep me basically going mentally. By working as a self-employed person, I can still have some pride in myself. I can still have a place in society. So thank you so much. There's still time to join up if you want to enjoy those Samhain posts going live. The minute you sign up, you get access to over 500 articles and videos, depending of course what tier you're in. If you go in at the top tier, you're going to get the whole lot. But yeah, if you've always thought about joining us, come and join us. We've got lots of lovely things to come, which I'm very excited about. So what's been going on this week? What have you been up to? Are you well? Have you been anywhere special? Have you done anything amazing? Let me know in the comments. Last week was our last sort of busy week of the summer, if you like. We had my husband's annual birthday jolly. We went to Glastonbury and it was the most perfect weather. Somehow we managed to get me up the tour. I found it a lot harder than in May. I am having some issues with swollen legs and breathlessness, so I need to speak to my cardiologist about that. However, I got there. Between that and the perimenopausal sweats, I was quite hot by the time I got to the top, but it was absolutely gorgeous, and we had a lovely day. And unfortunately, though, our truck was smashed into by an uninsured driver, and that has left us in quite a difficult position with just endless admin and, you know, trying to get somewhere. So yeah, it was a bit of a mixed bag, our trip. I did grab, hopefully I've got them here, yes I have. I've got some new diaries and journals. So every year I do a video on the almanacs and journals that I'm using for the year ahead. I've got some different ones. I said I would try some different ones this year. So we've got the Sabbath's Almanac, which actually runs from Samhain to Marbon. Usually I do this video in January. Maybe I should move it forwards. I'm not always organised though in November, December. Quite often I get my almanacs and diaries for Christmas for you all. So I'll see about when we have that video. Maybe I'll try and do it in November or December, I don't know. But anyway, I picked up this one, which I've not used before. I mean, I've been aware of it for years, but I just haven't felt the inclination to buy it and use it. And I've also picked up the Astro Moon Diary 2026. This was quite expensive. I was just shocked at how expensive this one was. This one is quite a bit cheaper, nearly half the amount. I suppose probably because it's just a little sort of independent one, perhaps not with such a big publisher. But anyway, it looks really good. I will be reviewing those later on. I'll probably go into more depth on those in Patreon, I'm not sure yet. I do love visiting Glastonbury in October and in the end of September, because everyone's got their autumnal decoration up. It's really got me excited for Halloween and Samhain, and there are just so many shops with groovy things in at the moment. So each year, I've only just cottoned on to this because we do not shop at Morrison's. It just so happens we went to Morrison's at this time last year, and I picked up my Disney Spooky But Sweet mug. It's in the cupboard. I should have got it out, shouldn't I? But I've got this year's Disney Spooky mug from Morrison's. It's got a lot of Mickey Mouse on. I think they always have Mickey Mouse on. I'm not a huge Disney fan. There are some things I like, but we have now kicked off a new collection. So yeah, if you've got time, get yourself down to Morrison's. I have to say that this was the last one. I felt a bit bad about taking it, so it might be that you can't find them. I really think that for some reason, and it seems to be TK Maxx that kicks stuff off, but it happens really early. Each and every year it gets earlier and earlier. So TK Maxx, I think it's July, they get their Halloween stuff in. And I bought this in sort of third week of September in Morrison's, and it was the last one. So, and it was only about £2.50. That was the best thing of all. So yeah, make a note in your diary for next year and get down to Morrison's. I've also seen some really nice spooky bowls in the Co-op. Let me know, where is the place that I need to go to for Halloween goodies? I never really thought I was a spooky girl. I never really thought I was much of a Halloween girl until recently, and now just certain things that I see are just absolutely beautiful and gorgeous, and I wish I had more money at this time of year. I need to remember that I need to save for Halloween. But let me know, what is the best supermarket to get your Halloween goodies from? Give me the tea. I want to know all the juicy details so that next year I could be totally organised. And I think I said this last year that I was going to try and save some money for Halloween, and it was never going to happen this year. Tell me where I need to go. I need to draw up a Halloween goodies battle plan. So I think the last couple of weeks have had quite a chaotic energy. I don't know what you guys think. We had on Tuesday the full supermoon in Aries. That one didn't seem to have too much of an effect on me. I saw a lot of people who were Aries who were really, really enjoying that moon and really, really felt it. But a week or two before, I think there have been some really, really, just really, really chaotic energy. I was asking myself over and over again, is this Mercury retrograde? Everything that could go wrong did. So we had a computer just stop working and my husband lost all his files. We've managed to retrieve some of them. We had the truck crashed into by an uninsured driver. We've had prescriptions cancelled, which is a real pain because our doctor's surgery only lets you put that prescription in like 2 days before it's due. We've had prescriptions sent to the wrong place in terms of supplier. So for managing my bowel, we've both been really unwell. I'm on antibiotics at the moment because I've had a urinary tract infection for a couple of weeks. And there has just been a lot of like difficult behaviour from people. It has been really, really rubbish. And I've tried my best to just go with the flow. What do you think? Has it been similar for you? Did you notice the same? What are your survival tips for when it's just all going wrong like this? And when all of your plans are being derailed? What are your tips for dealing with Mercury retrograde? I usually just withdraw my energy when it's like this and just say it is what it is. You know, if at the end of the day everybody's alive, and I think when something big happens, like you lose all your files, all your photos, all the things, I think sometimes that's so big that actually there's no point having a reaction to it because it's done, they're gone. It's upsetting, of course. I just accept during these times that it's not going to be straightforward, nothing is going to go well. And I don't mean in terms of dwelling, I don't mean in terms of like sending more energy that way. I just mean in terms of surrender, just going, okay, so this is how it is. When it's ready, this energy will pass. So I have spent the last few weeks, and probably actually the last 2 months, just clearing up messes, sorting out issues, endless admin, dealing with difficult people, you know, having a backwards and forwards conversation about something that, you know, you're dealing with another adult, you just really don't need to be having a conversation about it. It can take like 2 hours out of your day, 2 or 3 hours out of your day. And for me, that's a lot of time. So it hasn't felt very witchy, I must admit, but I do feel like that energy has shifted now, and so I'm hoping I can really get on with enjoying October. So I wanted to talk about Samhain. It obviously makes sense to do that. Traditionally, November the 1st is the date of Samhain. So by that we mean the 31st of October, the evening, into the evening of the 1st of November. And this is the end of the Celtic year. The Celts celebrated their days sunset to sunset, which is why a lot of people start their celebrations on the evening of the 31st and take them through to the next evening. Some people just celebrate Samhain on the 31st. Some people celebrate Samhain on the 1st of November. Other people, like myself, are just happy to celebrate any particular festival for as long as possible. So we still have astrological Samhain to go as well after Samhain. Usually this falls on the 6th or 7th of November. This year it happens on the 6th of November. And this is the halfway point between the autumn equinox and the winter solstice. And it is when the sun enters 15 degrees Scorpio. So as I've said, 6th of November this year. Personally, you know, if we're looking at this and we're going, okay, so the Samhain energy is apparent from Samhain to about the 6th or 7th of November, 6 or 7 days after, then surely that energy is present just before, you know, like we do with the moon, where we do a day before and a day after and the main day that the moon is full. I can absolutely go with that. As I've always said on this channel, that no festival really is just one day. So don't panic if your celebrations they don't happen on the exact day, or, you know, life takes over, because there's always like a build-up of energy towards something and then a decrease of energy and a pulling away from something. So it's not just a single day. There's a lead in and a lead out. So if you're new to the craft, what do we celebrate and honour at Samhain? Well, we honour our ancestors and the dead. We celebrate the end of harvest, so that might be a celebration or a commiseration, depending on how a community's harvest went. We're preparing for winter essentially. Obviously, these things take a very different energy in the modern world. We go to the supermarket and we buy our food off the shelf, and all the worry and the stress about providing that food has been handled for us. We're not living in a community where we're helping bring that harvest in, and we're very, very aware of whether it's been a good year or a bad year, and we're very, very aware of the winter to come. But these are the themes. This is traditionally what Samhain's all about. It is the start of winter, so it's the start of the dark half of the year, and obviously some thoughts towards stillness and endurance will be on our minds at this time. It's a good time to work on ourselves, so doing shadow work. It's a great time for learning and studying. I'm definitely pulled towards that at this time of the year. We're outside less, we're less outward, we're inside, you know, we're keeping warm, we're hibernating. We're curled up on the sofa, so what are we going to do? We're probably going to read or study or just do something quietly. This is a great time of liminal magic. The Celts saw this as a doorway. You were neither in summer or winter, you were in that in-between, in-betwixt point. Rest and recuperation, so important. And reflecting on the year before. So Samhain and Beltane, which are opposite each other on the wheel of the year, they split the year into the lighter half and the darker half. And for many people, Samhain is considered the major festival, the most important of them all. And I definitely think that, you know, perhaps alongside Beltane, it gets the most excitement. I think Samhain just pips Beltane to the post for a lot of people. For me, it's Beltane. But equally, there is a huge love there for Samhain. It is the end of the witches' year, which we sort of put in alignment with the Celtic year, and the new year starts on the 1st of November. It's a deeply profound time, and this is a time when we consider the veil, so the space between this world and the next, to be thinner. This is what the Celts believe. So the ancestors simply lived on a different plane to them, but they were closer at this time. So there wasn't, you know, it was eerie, but they didn't have fear so much. It was more a reverence and a respect, and they would approach spirits and spirit work with caution, but this was the time to do it. And it's the same at Beltane. I've seen people argue back and forth about this. I was actually taught that the veil isn't thinner at Beltane, but I disagree, because where is the line on the planet? Where is the line where we stop celebrating Samhain in the northern hemisphere and it becomes Beltane in the southern hemisphere? Where do we draw that line in terms of that veil being thin? If the veil's thin, for me, it's thin all around the world. And it's the same at Beltane, except perhaps the elementals and the fairies, those you know, the spirits that are more present at that time. But when it's Samhain for us in the northern hemisphere, it's Beltane for people in the southern hemisphere. So for me, it's just globally, it's a time when the veil is thin. We tend to think of the veil as a piece of fabric, I think, in modern day. And this idea has come from the story of the death of Christ. There was a heavy curtain at the Temple of Jerusalem, and when Christ went to spirit, this veil tore. So I think we've got this idea of fabric. However, the Celts thought of it as a mist, which makes a lot more sense. You know, you can always reach across that mist, but that mist gets a bit thinner and less dense at Samhain. So this makes it a good time for communicating with the dead, reaching across to the next world. So traditionally, and in a modern day setting, this is a great time for divination and scrying. Is a great example. Spirit work, ancestor work, communicating with ancestors, and trusting and using and honing our intuition. And again, this all comes from sort of being slightly more inward and being inside more and pottering about a bit more inside rather than being out and about with friends. So as a whole, it's time to slow down, really. This between Samhain and the winter solstice is going to be the last the last waning phase of the year, believe it or not, because then when we get to the winter solstice, things are going to pick up again. So it's really a time to rest, reflect, ease into winter, and to be prepared for winter, quite literally. So people at this time of year, they'd be taking stock of their vegetables, their things they've harvested, and the stuff that they've put in jars. They would be slaughtering any livestock that wouldn't last the winter, and they would be making repairs to their homes and to their gardens and just getting ready, really. We are supposed to hibernate in the winter. We are supposed to slow down. Of course, we have Yule, we have Christmas, we have other festivals of light going on around the world and in different cultures and heritages and traditions and religions, and I think that's really nice to pick us up out of that gloom. But it is supposed to be a time of rest. It's not supposed to be a time where we're just, you know, absolutely pulled in every direction. Anyway, yeah, I hope you all have a lovely Samhain. We will probably talk about it a little bit more next week. We don't have long to go now. It's absolutely crazy. I don't even know what day it falls on. Oh, it's a Friday, isn't it? Yeah, I do know it's a Friday. Anyway, some viewing that I have been watching this week, which is perfect for the Halloween season, is Monster, the Ed Gein Story on Netflix. And oh my goodness, what an emotional roller coaster. It stars Charlie Hunnam as Ed Gein, and yeah, we've just been cozying up in the evenings now under a blanket with something warm to drink. We usually watch some sort of series over the autumn and into the winter. We're also watching Game of Thrones with my brother-in-law, but my husband and I, we have been watching this, and we watched the two that came before. There was one called Dharma, about Jeffrey Dahmer, and we watched the Eric and Lyle Menendez series as well. And yeah, so very interesting and just absolutely terrifying to think what he did. It's very dark, but it is very well done by Netflix, as always. Though I do have a few sort of criticisms, like I think it was longer than it needed to be. There were a lot of factual inaccuracies, and I think they did use a lot of poetic license. I mean, it's kind of the Ed Gein story, but with, you know, a heap of just make believe in with it to form a story. Gein's character, of course, influenced several films: The Silence of the Lambs, Psycho, The Texas Chain Massacre. It was very good. I did enjoy it. It was entertaining. We have been absolutely gripped. You do manage to feel a bit sorry for him as well, even though he did awfully bad and terrible things. He did have a mental health problem, and he did grow up in a very, very abusive and violent household. So you do find yourself empathizing with him. He ends up in an institution, not really living a life. He comes to accept that what he did was wrong. They help get him well, get him on meds, at least in terms of the Netflix story. I don't know how true that is. And he completely changed his ways, or so they have portrayed. And you do feel sorry that, you know, someone went without help for so long. These things could have been avoided. However, yeah, the time, you know, he lived in a rural town, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, very, very sad. There were definitely a couple of moments where, you know, I was moved to cry, but we really, really enjoyed that. And apparently they're doing the Lizzie Borden story next. I had to look up Lizzie Borden. I knew her name weirdly, but I had no idea who she actually was. So looking forward to seeing that. I just want to say thank you to one of my viewers who is also on my Patreon. Just want to say thank you to Tracy. She sent me some goodies this week. I want to show you. So I love these like little zine type publications. We've got Leyline, we've got Ritual, and we've got Weird Walk. And you might have seen this actually as a book. Weird Walk has now become a book. I've seen that in, I think, Waterstones and some other local bookshops. But what's really special is she sent me this Stones cookbook, which is absolutely brilliant. This is vegetarian recipes from Stone's restaurant, which used to be in Avebury. Now, this ran until the early 1980s. I was born in 1981, so this is why I was not aware of this particular restaurant. It was award-winning, and it was run by Hilary Howard and Mike Pitts. And they created this beautiful book. So thank you so much, Tracy. Obviously, Tracy knows my links to Avebury and what a beautiful and important place it is to me. And of course, you know, I lost my dear friend Terry Dobney, the Archdruid of Avebury. And so, yeah, this is absolutely beautiful. So thank you so much, Tracy. I just adore you. Thank you. Another publication I want to show you is my annual appearance in one of the ladies' magazines. I'm in Pick Me Up. This is the November edition, the November special, issue 11. It's out now, and they've just rerun the story of how I came to live on a cemetery. So let me just show you if I can find it. It did take me a little while to find it when I was in the shop. Here we go, Fright Move, which is just the best headline because we did find this house on Rightmove. So very, very clever. You can get your copy now. Right, brilliant. I think it's time to do some cards. In the meantime, tell me how you're all doing, what you've been up to. I've picked up the Druid Craft Tarot deck this morning. Usually I work with my Rider-Waite. I don't actually know where they are. I think they're in my events room. So we're going to use these ones today. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you've been doing, and whether you are looking forward to Samhain or Beltane if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. Okay, we've got 3 today. We have got the Four of Wands, we've got the Queen of Wands, and we've got the High Priestess. And the term that sprang to mind straight away was the King of the Castle, except I'm going to change this to the Queen of the Castle. So this is going to be a really homely time for you. It's time to really make the most of home. When we talk about spring cleaning, I also think that urge happens in autumn as we prepare for winter, like I mentioned when we were talking about Samhain. It is time to tidy up and really make your home beautiful, really make it somewhere that you want to hibernate in, somewhere that you want to cozy up, watch your Netflix monster Ed Gein, somewhere that's really, really special to you. And this will just make you feel just absolutely gorgeous. I am a Cancerian, so this message means a lot to me. It makes sense to me. Maybe you've not been so focused on home before. Maybe it's not something you've ever really thought about, but go out, get some scatter cushions, get some rugs, get some lovely candles, and really create a magical atmosphere. It will just really, really cheer you up. If you've been feeling sad, it's going to make you feel good. If you've not been paying attention to home, it's going to make you feel truly tuned in with yourself this autumn. Make the most of it, you know, really make your home a castle, become the queen of your castle, and you will feel confident. You might feel more confident about having other people over. And I think as well that if you clean up, tidy up, make things special, you are really going to be able to concentrate on learning and studying and working on your magical path. It's amazing what a difference our environment makes to us and our mental well-being and our ability to concentrate on other things. Me personally, I can't work if the house is a mess. I can't create if the house is a mess. There has to be that tidiness so that the energy can flow, so that the energy isn't chaotic. So maybe if you've been putting this off for a while, maybe if your place has turned into a little bit of a mess, it's time to get out the vacuum cleaner, the dustpan and brush, and not just clean and tidy and declutter, but actually make it really special and magical. Make it into a space. Maybe you've got a craft room or a magical room, like a temple room that you've neglected. Maybe there is some decorating you've been putting off. Get on and do it before it gets too cold, before you lose the motivation completely, and make your house a home, make your magical space. Maybe set up an altar, but this is very much linked in with the energy of the High Priestess. And then when everything is sorted in your external world, you'll be able to tap into your intuition and that higher voice a bit more easily, because your mind will be clear, it won't be clouded. So that is the message for the next week or two. Thank you so much for being here and for watching. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. It really, really helps the channel to grow. And I will see you next week, sending you so much love and many blessings. Bye.